Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I am joined by two members of the Wisconsin Badgers hockey team, Roman Ahcan and Ty Pelton-Byce. Welcome to the podcast, guys, and how's everything going?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's good. Little Christmas break.
That's awesome to hear. And I want to start off talking about the season for a little bit. You guys are currently off to a 500 start to your season. You had some good series against Notre Dame and Penn State, but you guys struggled a little bit against teams like Arizona State and Michigan. What have you two overall taken away from this year so far?
Well, there's been some ups and downs, obviously, but we had a little COVID things and all that kind of stuff. Particularly with our room, we missed half or a few games. So I think we've been playing pretty well for the most part. We had a series or two where missed some guys right in the first series back against Arizona State. Guys were kind of had to play extra and go into new roles, but the next weekend I think everybody found those roles pretty well. So I think we're gonna have everybody back for this next half of the season. So I'm pretty pumped about how our team looks with all the guys back.
Yeah, and I'd say we're pretty excited just to get our full team back once all the guys come back for World Juniors. And this year we've just kind of rolled with the punches that everything's been thrown at us and trying to make us stronger by going through these stages.
Yeah, has it been an adjustment playing games at LeBron versus the Kohl Center, or is that kind of the same for you guys personally?
I mean, some people like it. Some people wish you're at the Kohl, but I mean, I don't mind it without fans. I think playing at the Kohl Center, it'd kind of be a little weird with no fans there, just because it'd be such a big arena with it being so empty.
Yeah, it definitely would be. I'd definitely say it'd be a little even weirder with no fans at the Kohl. It's just so big. It's gonna just feel so empty. So I like the playing at the LeBron. It's a little tighter, and now we get to have parents this second half, which is nice.
Yeah, and has been an adjustment for yourself not playing with any fans, because I know some schools have been affected by it a lot because they get a lot of crowds that come to their games, especially at Wisconsin. That arena is always packed every night.
Yeah, it's a little different with the cardboard cutouts in there instead of our fans, but we miss that. But there's nothing really we can do about it. So.
Yeah, obviously, I grew up here, went to a lot of games. Obviously the crowd here is always electric. So you miss that a lot, but at the same time, just kind of focus on what you can control. So, we got to try to create our own energy, everything like that. So, it's gone well for the most part, but obviously you miss that energy.
Yeah, and this weekend you guys play Minnesota, who's obviously number one ranked team in the country. How do you plan to upset them and stop some of their top scorers like Sampo Ranta and Sammy Walker?
Well, they obviously have a really good team. They got a lot of good forwards, a lot of good D. They're good up and down the lineup. But I think with our combination of speed, skill, discipline, strength, all that stuff, we're gonna have everybody back. I think we're pretty confident in the way we can play.
Yeah, and it's always different playing Minnesota than any other team with the rivalry. So you never really know what the series is going to throw at you.
Yeah, I'm excited for that series. It should be fun. I think you guys are a lot better team than the ranking shows, and I can't wait to see how you match up against a team like Minnesota to prove some of those people wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, you've also had to adjust to many schedule changes throughout the season. How have you mentally stayed prepared for all those changes and postponements that have happened already?
I think it's just kind of taking it day by day. Like, you never really know if we don't even know if we're going to play Minnesota this weekend. Something could come up, and so you just got to take it day by day and improve each day to be ready for the next series.
Yeah, that's what we've talked about all summer, all fall. You got to handle adversity. Everyone's going to have to deal with stuff. So, you can't blame a season on, with having people out or anything like that. So, you just got to, like you said, you just got to take it day by day and, be thankful for each day if you get to play that day.
Yeah, and how's your freshman class looks like so far in your eyes, and how have they adapted to the new team, especially since the rest of your freshman class haven't really experienced something like this heading into college hockey? I know you guys never experienced it heading into your freshman year.
Yeah, I think they adapted real well. I mean, with our room being out for those games, they've stepped up into their different roles, and they've played to the potential that we ask from them. So I don't think we could ask much more from them.
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed with the way those guys have stepped up. They've contributed offensively and defensively, and anything you can ask from them. So they've been great around the locker room. Great practice. Their energy's just been great. So it's really good to see.
Now, 3-on-3 overtime has been introduced to college hockey this year. I know you haven't played in one yet, but how excited are you to potentially be in one this year and get more offensive chances, especially for Roman, because I know you're an offensive player?
Yeah, I mean, it opens up the game a little bit, and I feel like that our team has the speed and the skill to excel in that area. So I'm excited for our first opportunity for that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like you said, I think one of our biggest strengths is our speed. So with all that open ice, that can be pretty dangerous for us.
Now, what has been the biggest improvement you both have made to your game so far?
I think my skating is what I'd say. I've never been a very good skater, I would say. So it's something I've been working on, the past few years, and I think it's improved a lot. Just having more balance with the puck, with guys on your hip and all that stuff, and then also top end speed, which is with the improvement, it seems like I've been able to create more space for myself and create more offensively.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way with my skating, and I feel like just the changing speed and getting to open areas is what I've been working on the most.
Yeah, and how was both of your off seasons like, and what did you do to prepare for this unusual season that was upon you guys? Because I know talking to other college hockey players, a lot of gyms are closed and it was hard to find ice time. How did you overcome some of those challenges that you might have faced during the off season?
Usually, we are in Madison actually training for about 8 weeks, I think, right?
Yeah, usually
Around 8 weeks. So usually that'll whip us into shape pretty good. And but this year we kind of had a shortened summer like session. So I mean, we all kind of go home and do our own thing, and then we all come back together as a group, which is it's really nice because it kind of gets us all on the same page.
Yeah, we had obviously a pretty long quarantine period, at the beginning of summer. So guys were home longer than usual. We had a great strength coach, and he was sent us a bunch of workouts that you could do just at home with limited amount of weights and all that kind of stuff. So I think the guys were in pretty good shape for the most part. Coming back when we got back in it was July, I think. We got a few weeks together, and then just kind of continued on through the fall.
Was there anything fun you guys did during the off season that isn't hockey related?
Yeah, obviously it was kind of hard this year. You can't go out to bars, anything like that. Shout out to KK. No, but it's we did what we could. We had to keep our circle small, just with really close friends and with us. Tried to find things to do.
Yeah, I spent some time at my cabin.
Oh, nice.
It's in Grand Rapids, so it's good to get up there and get away.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And since you guys are both upperclassmen this year, and Ty, I know you have the A on your jersey. What type of leadership have you tried to bring to the team? And are you guys more vocal or lead by example type of players?
I'd say I'm probably more lead by example. Tried to implement the vocal part more and more into my game and leadership skills. I think we have a really good balance of leaders on this team. It's not just the guys wearing letters. It's him, everybody else, that a lot of upperclassmen, all that kind of stuff. But it's just, I think we just have a good balance. There's a few guys that can, be really vocal, and then some that are more calming presences and all that kind of stuff. So it's just really, I think it's really worked for our team.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the same thing. I'm more of a lead by example guy, but I'm not afraid to share my voice. And I feel like that's another part of our team that is doing so well, is no one's afraid of any upperclassmen or anything. Like, we're all as one, instead of being a freshman class, sophomore class, junior, senior. Anyone's going to call somebody out for not doing the right thing.
Now, I want to start off talking about the beginning of your hockey careers. Roman, you're from Minnesota, and Ty, you're from Wisconsin. How did you both start playing hockey and falling in love with the sport?
My dad had a rink outside my backyard by the time I was like 2 years old. So, and we also had a rink right down the street from us. So me and my brothers were always out there battling against each other, and a few bloody noses there. So
Well, my dad played for the Badgers, and then a little bit for the Bruins, and then in many different places for minor league hockey. So it was kind of destined. I had a hockey stick in my hand like right away. I'd go down into the locker room, my dad and his teammates, and pass the puck around and stuff. I think first time I skated might have been I was 2 or 3, I think. But my dad's side of the family has been a big hockey family for a long time, so it just kind of started, right away, and I've loved it from the get go.
Yeah, and you were both mentioning you both grew up in hockey families. Roman, your brother Jack, who is currently on the Bruins, played for St. Cloud and was very good. And obviously, Ty, you're mentioning how your dad was a Wisconsin Badger, and he also won a national championship with the Wisconsin back in 1990. My question is, how did being in that hockey environment help your development? And what is the communication like between Roman, your brother Jack, and Ty, with your father?
yeah, me and my brother are pretty close, and I've always grown up like competing against him and wanting to do what he does. So I think that's pushed me to try to be better each and every day. And yeah, there's been some good fights, and there's been some good times out at the pond. So I feel like that's kind of what keeps me going.
Yeah, my dad's always been a big part of my hockey career my entire life. He coached me up until high school, basically. Also with my uncle too. He's been a great influence. He's a great coach. So they've always been a big part of my hockey career. I think it's really helped with my hockey sense. I think that's one of my strengths, and obviously that is from being around hockey all the time and watching it. Um, yeah, so it's just been the family is great when it comes to playing around. Like me and my dad and my sister all the time, or in the basement shooting pucks, or out on the pond. So it's been great.
Now, who was your favorite player growing up, and what part of their game do you try to emulate to your game a little bit?
So,
I've had a few. When I was really young, I used to love Alex Tanguay, just from watching him play. I think that my family used to go to Colorado a lot, so I was a little bit of an Avalanche fan, especially when they had that sick team with that Sakic, Forsberg, Korea, Solani, Tanguay, Hayduk, all those guys. I don't even know if I could say it.
Yeah, I don't really have one. I kind of like growing up in Minnesota. I was always a Minnesota fan, so I watched like guys like Clutterbuck, and that's kind of the game that I wanted to play. So I kind of liked watching him.
Now, you both played in the USHL before heading to Wisconsin. Now, my question is, what is it like to play in that league, and how did it prepare you for college hockey?
I think that I love playing in USHL with Cedar Rapids. Carlson was a great coach there, and he had my brother there the year or 2 years before. So it was a welcoming environment from him and the rest of the guys there. And I just feel like the USHL as a whole made me a better player, just because I had to catch up with the speed and the skill and the strength of everyone else. So that kind of pushed me to get better.
Yeah. Obviously, what he said, the speed, strength, skill, all that kind of stuff, playing against those guys helps you take the next step before you get to college. If you're coming right out of AAA or high school right to college, you got a big jump to make. So you're playing against 23, 24-year-olds. So, and then also I would say just all you really doing is playing hockey. You don't have much else to focus on. Maybe you're taking a class or two, but so that's pretty great to just have a year where or two where you're just focused on hockey. You don't have to worry about anything else, and you can really put a lot of time and effort to developing your game.
Now, this is a question for Roman, but playing high school hockey in Minnesota is unlike anything else. I've seen the YouTube videos from the state tournament. What's it like being in a Minnesota? Describe the Minnesota high school hockey scene and being a player in that atmosphere, because it seems a lot of fun. And I'm not from Minnesota, so I quite don't get it, because a lot of guys from where I'm from go to prep school or have to go to juniors to play their high school hockey.
Right, and I think it's a lot like in Wisconsin. Like you're growing up playing high school hockey in front of all your best friends from school. Everyone's coming there to support you, and I just feel like the environment of the tournament is the state tournament is unbelievable with it being at the XL. And I was lucky enough to go there my junior year of high school. We lost in the first round to Wayzata, but even just being there is like it's unbelievable.
Now, this is a question for Ty, but I was reading up about you, and before Wisconsin, you played for Harvard, where you made a Frozen Four appearance in 2017. What was your Frozen Four experience like, both on and off the ice? Because I went to one before in Boston. It was really cool, like the whole setup and atmosphere, and especially since it was in an NHL arena.
Oh, it was awesome. Obviously in college hockey, whenever you play, you're treated really well. Hotels, meals, all that kind of stuff. But I think it was a little even greater than usual that weekend. And then obviously playing at the United Center was awesome. From the graphics on the ice to the people in the stands, it was an amazing atmosphere. And then obviously super cool to be able to play in it. We had a heartbreaking loss, but obviously you wouldn't take that back. But it was a super cool experience, and I'm glad I got to do it.
Now, I want to ask you, what was your recruiting process like, and why did you both decide to go to Wisconsin? I know, Roman, you went straight from juniors, and Ty, you transferred from Harvard. What was your recruiting processes like, and how'd you end up with the Badgers jersey?
You got it. Okay. Obviously, I transferred here from Harvard. Ended up, just didn't think it was a good fit kind of with the school and the atmosphere. Hockey went really well, but and then then when I kind of announced that the coaches here found out that I was probably not going to go back there, they reached out and said they'd love to have me. So it was a pretty easy decision. Obviously, I tried to look at any other schools that were a possibility, but obviously growing up in Madison with my family here and rooting for the Badgers, it was a pretty easy decision, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, right out of high school, I was kind of talking to St. Cloud a little bit because my brother, obviously, and I just kind of wanted to do my own thing, go to a little bigger school, and kind of start my own path. So that's kind of how I came to Wisconsin. But on my recruiting process, I came here and they started showing me all the facilities and the campus, and I just kind of fell in love with it as they brought me around.
Yeah, and what was the biggest adjustment you both had to make to college hockey? I know talking to some players, it's the mental side, making quicker decisions with the puck, or sometimes it's the physicality since you're playing against players that are 5 years older than you are.
Yeah, I'd say the toughest for me is just again the speed. Coming from juniors, it's a whole another level to adjust to, and I think that that jump is making me a better player, and it's forcing me to be better. Else you're gonna kind of get eaten up in the league.
Yeah, speed and strength obviously are always the big thing. Decision making is as you get to the higher levels is definitely probably the biggest thing. And then also confidence. Maybe my freshman year, I was happy to be a third, fourth liner, and it's something I hadn't really done in my hockey career, and it was great. Not a lot of pressure, all that kind of stuff. But then after that, you want to take on that bigger role. So I think you just got to take every step you can, whenever you can, to build more and more confidence.
Yeah, and what's it like to play under Coach Granado? And does he have the best hair on the team, in your opinion?
I don't know, that there's been some skepticism. My dad's played with him in college, and he always talks to me once in a while and says, "What's going on with Tony's hair?" The TV lighting doesn't help it. I think it looks pretty good, but I think it's good. I think it's probably one of the best out of the coaches that we've seen.
Yeah, I love playing for Tony, and I feel like he's the kind of guy that's not going to let you slip by. He's going to ask the most from you, and if you're not giving that, he's going to get in your ear. So.
Yeah, and you're obviously the 14th ranked team in the country. How do you try to maintain that success throughout the high expectations that your team has with all the top end talent that's on Wisconsin?
Yeah, again, I think we just got to take it day by day, and we've set meetings to where we've set goals, and we try accomplishing these goals or getting as close as possible to them. So I think that's kind of a big part of our team of what we want to do and where we want to be at the end of the season.
Yeah, we've obviously in a certain series we've seen how we can play. If we can hold ourselves to that high of a standard week in and week out, I think we're going to be a pretty hard team to beat.
Now, your team has lost in the Big Ten playoffs the last 2 years. What do you think needs to be done to get over that hump and get out of the Big Ten and win a Big Ten championship?
I think it's just you got to realize that it's a whole new team every year, so you can't dwell on the years past. I think the resilience this group has, and the handling adversity, all that kind of stuff, has shown so far. So I think that's going to help us in the long run, especially in playoffs.
Now, you guys have also had some struggles on the road the past 2 years. How do you plan to improve your team's performance on the road? Because I know it's a lot different playing at Kohl Center or now LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, going into a road series, you might have a different mindset going in there than it is at home. Just kind of trying to keep the game simple right away, and as the game opens up, that's when we have to learn to capitalize more.
Yeah, that's definitely the way we've tried to approach road games. It's especially on the road. Any game you want to start simple and try to break their D down, all that kind of stuff, as soon as you can. So obviously I think it's what he said, stay simple right away. It's going to be, you got to try to keep the energy a little bit lower. Obviously it's a little different without the fans there. You don't have to do that as much, but it's definitely just keep everything simple.
Now, speaking of the fans, what's it like to play in that atmosphere at Kohl Center, and what's the best chirp you've heard from the student section before?
The atmosphere is awesome. Like every time it's a big hit, big goal, like it goes nuts. But I honestly don't know if I've heard any chirps from the student section. They're kind of tucked away behind the glass there, but
Yeah, I mean they've got some pretty good cheers. It's hard to pick one. Yeah, obviously growing up here, I've heard a lot of them, but I think my favorite cheer might be let's go red and white. Worst cheer, worst cheer, worst cheer ever. Keystone, Keystone, Keystone Light. Worst beer, worst beer, worst beer ever. That one cracks me up every time. Even that I'll be as focused as I can on the game, and I'll hear that and I'll giggle. So it's obviously great having them there. They're an absolute riot. And I think it testament to the home ice advantage we get when we can play in the Kohl Center.
Now, one thing we're introducing to the podcast this year is fan questions. Now, we have one fan question. This is from Samarth Doraswamy. Hopefully I pronounced the last name right. I apologize. But they ask, what's it like to play with Cole Caulfield?
It's awesome. You've never seen someone love scoring goals as much as he does. You can obviously see that playing the World Juniors or watching our games. But yeah, he's a super nice kid. And you wouldn't think it, but he's one of the most intense people I've seen on the ice. So playing with him, I've tried to take on the role of having to poke him every once in a while and say, hey, just relax a little bit. If someone doesn't score, he doesn't score. He can get pretty hard on himself. So try to remind him to just remember that he's an elite goal scorer and he's going to score if he keeps shooting.
yeah, I'd say the same thing. Great guy, and he's a ton of fun in the locker room, and he's a competitor, and he doesn't take losing easily, which is a good thing, and I think that's why, or what makes him as good as a player as he is.
Now, have you guys been watching the World Juniors? I know Dylan Holloway is playing for Team Canada, and obviously Cole is playing for Team USA. Have you guys watched their performance so far?
Yeah, we watched a bit of it. I thought we watched the first game, and I thought USA, they played well, but I think that Russia kind of just overpowered them a little bit. But it was early in the tournament, so I think that they're going to come back and show what they got.
Yeah, they've obviously been pretty impressive lately. Slovakia gave them a good game, but those teams are pretty good at that, especially in the quarters. Yeah, Cole finally got a goal last night or 2 nights ago, which is big for him, obviously. And Dylan's been playing great. I think sometimes points-wise he goes under the radar, but if you look at the lineup, he's always on that top group with those guys that are producing. He just does a lot of little things right, forechecking, making plays on the breakout, and getting to the net.
Now, if USA plays Canada in the final, is it gonna be hard to root for which team, or are you guys just gonna root for the USA since you're from America?
Yeah, no, there's no chance I can vote against USA there.
Yeah.
My brother, we were actually watching the replay from when my brother was there, and it was like I got chills watching it again just because it's always great beating Canada.
Yeah, especially in Montreal. That was the coolest part of that tournament. Just
Yeah,
seeing all the disappointed Canadian fans when USA won was
my
awesome.
parents were there and they said the building cleared out within 10 seconds. Like it was just deflated.
Yeah, one player that's been impressing me the most during World Juniors is that Trevor Zegras. He's amazing. He's definitely going to be a potential top 10 player in the NHL in a few years, in my opinion.
Yeah, you see last year he has the skill, and this year it's really prominent. I think just him taking over the game, his confidence level. You know, all those guys can stick out and stuff like that. He's got probably a little bit extra skill, but just his confidence out there, I think, sets him above the rest.
Now we're in the non-hockey segment of the podcast, and my first question is, who has the best style on the team? Looking at you two, it seems like you guys might have the best style, but who else dresses very well on the team?
Yeah, I'm a big sweatshirt guy. But
Yeah.
I'd have to go. I like Jesper's style. He's kind of got the Finnish style.
Yeah,
the
a couple of the Europeans have pretty good
European
style.
So I'm kind of digging it.
Yeah, him, Linus. Ryder tries to have the best style.
Ryder looks like a goofball.
But he's a goofball.
Everyone was saying Robbie Baydoun just because of the stash. What's your thoughts on Robbie Baydoun's mustache? Because I love it.
Is it still there?
I like it. Yeah, I think so. He's he embraces the dad role. Obviously, being the grad transfer, he lives with Cole, so he's pretty much Cole's dad. We call him so. Yeah, he embraces it with the mustache. He's got pretty good style.
Now, who is the funniest on the team, and what funny stories do you have of that teammate?
Jesper Pelton. He's literally just a walking movie. Like everything he does, it's like if you walked around and videotaped him, it would be a comedy show.
Yeah, that would be a hit for sure.
It's not even like he's trying to be funny. It's just some stuff he says. It's just like, where does that come from? Like he's got the weirdest facts on the team and pounds about 14 Cokes a day. Big nutrition guy.
Will you say the same person or someone else on the team maybe?
Oh yeah, no, it's gotta be it's hands down Jasper. Just literally everything he does.
Now, what music do you guys like to listen to, and which arena has had the best warm-up mix?
I mean, this is DJ Pressplay over here. He's got the aux. I mean, we got a good mix. Our seats in the car based on he gets front because he's on the aux every time. But it's kind of a mix of everything.
We had some country flying around today in the locker room, but a lot of like techno, EDM.
Yeah, we had some EDM or some rock before games.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the guys like the Big Booty remixes on SoundCloud. Do you guys listen to that before games?
Yeah, we actually listen to that like working out a lot.
Yeah.
We just throw that on, then no one has to really mess with the iPad during workout and stuff, so we can kind of keep it rolling.
Now,
what is the hardest class at Wisconsin, in your opinion?
Well, none of us have taken that, so I don't know. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Music 113 was pretty hard. Yeah, I don't know. There's a couple guys have to take chemistry this year, I think, which is going to be pretty hard. But
yeah, me and Dom last semester struggled through an accounting class. That was a lot of work, but we made it through.
Yeah, no, chemistry, I hate chemistry so much. I don't hate it as much as physics, but I just hate that math science. I just don't like numbers involved with other subjects. I think it just makes things more confusing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, if you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Oof.
Yeah, I would actually go with Dennis Rodman just because I'd love to hear all of his stories.
Oh yeah, we watched The Last Dance this summer, was it?
Yeah.
That guy's crazy.
I want to get the inside scoop on his mind, what's going through his head.
What was your thoughts on the story with Carmen Electra in the hotel room and then Michael Jordan having to go to Vegas just to pick him up? That was the best one in my opinion.
That might be the most legendary story ever.
Yeah, and I think the best part of it is when he came back and he was the best player on the team when they were doing the run or whatever, and he was out in first, and I was like, oh my God, like this guy's an animal.
Yeah. I would love to talk to Michael from the Last Dance documentary because he's so intense, and I loved how he didn't care what other people said about him or his team because he would push anyone no matter the cost, really. And like that one guy, I forgot what his name was, but he was just roasting him the entire documentary. I felt bad. He went to UConn, I think. But no, so I like Michael. I think his intensity, his greatness would be someone to just to hear a little bit of it would be fun for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd be pretty cool. I mean, he had some good quotes from that. Like, I think he said, "Why would I ever be afraid to miss a shot I haven't taken yet?" And then that hit me pretty hard. That's the confidence level is obviously something you want to improve on every day, and that's definitely a good example to take from.
Yeah, my favorite quote was like, "You might call me a tyrant, but I don't care because you've never won anything." Like that was like, wow, like that really called me out in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, last non-hockey question: what is your biggest pet peeve?
Um.
Roman doesn't do the dishes.
No
He's
chance.
fine.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe
We've been pretty lucky with all our roommates, and I don't think
Yeah.
anyone's been that annoying.
Yeah, I don't have a bad pet peeve because oh my God, Max Zimmer's dishes. That's my biggest pet peeve.
That might be mine. I didn't even live with you.
Yeah.
And that was mine.
All right. Well, back to some hockey questions. My first one is, what advice would you give younger players trying to make it to college hockey?
I'd say the process it can be long, it can be short, but it doesn't matter as long as you get there, and it's different for everyone. So some people are going to stay in high school all through senior year. Some people are going to leave after sophomore year. Some people are going to play 1 year junior. Some people might play 4, and it's just you just got to kind of embrace the process and just give your best shot to be a college hockey player.
Yeah, I'd say that's a huge part. I've had people reach out to me, family, friends, all that stuff, and saying, "Oh, you didn't make this team, or you didn't get the call up here. Like, what's wrong? Like nothing. Like, it's different for everybody. I was probably more of a late bloomer myself, so I didn't try to rush anything. I'm in my 5th year of college, which I think was a big help for me just to develop my game an extra year. And then I also say just find the fun in everything in the process. If something's getting grueling and you're not having fun, you're not gonna improve that much. So change your routine or whatever it is to make it fun. Obviously there's gonna be some parts that aren't fun, but there's gotta be some fun parts. Otherwise, you're not gonna enjoy it. If you enjoy something, like, you can go through the pain a lot more than if you're not enjoying it.
Yeah, one question I wanted to ask you too was, this is my first year in college, and it's hard to just balance the academic side, but how do you two both balance hockey and academics? Because it seems like it could be a lot on your plate, and also trying to have a social life on the other side of it as well.
Yeah, I'd say just kind of trying to stay on top of things. Once you get behind, it gets tough. So we have good resources here with our academic advisors and our tutors. So yeah, I'd just say use all the resources that you can, that whatever's given to you.
Yeah, I think we got to get a lot of help with their advisors. Keeping on top of things in classes, all that stuff. So yeah, it's just mainly for me. It's always, we have a little calendars we get every year or every semester, and we write down when assignments are due. I think that's the biggest help for me. It's just you can see something's done. You're not worried about, oh, what do I have to do today? You can look right there and you got it. It's a lot easier. Yeah, it's like you said, if you get behind, it starts compounding. It's harder and harder. So get stuff done early and often when you can, and it makes it the easiest.
Now, what should I do to improve as an interviewer and make this podcast better? Because this is the first time I'm interviewing 2 people in one show.
I like it.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. Obviously, I think the 2 was fun. Yeah, I like the non-hockey questions were fun for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Questions.
Nice to get away from the game a little bit.
Yeah, the who's the funniest, best dressed, all the good stories. Those are the best to talk about, I think.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no, I hope to have more 2-for-1 podcasts, just because I think it makes the dynamic more interesting. And it's obviously been tough now because of, coronavirus. You can't really get people together, but
Right.
I appreciate you 2 coming on. Now, do you have any shout outs to give to any of your family members, teammates, or do you want to plug anything in before we let you go?
Instagram.
Huh?
Instagram.
Shout out Don Mersch.
Oh yeah, shout out to
Our
roommates.
roommates,
Yeah,
yeah.
roommates Don Mersch, Tarek Baker.
We always have a good time.
My sister will be pissed if I don't shout her out. Kaya Pelton-Byce, next superstar.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Good luck for the rest of the season. I'll definitely be watching and promoting you guys as much as I can. And stay safe and take care.
Perfect.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you. You too.
No problem. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye.